walks are it's where all your genius comes out. You're on a walk and you're up against a problem. All of a sudden, now you're breathing, you're moving your body. You're not like right here, you're not
Mhm.
right here in your head or on your phone, and you're looking out around you. And all of a sudden, the world is a bigger place.
Yeah.
And then this genius download comes from the sky, and you're like, oh my God, this was the answer to my problem. It's not that hard.
And welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Listen, if you've ever wondered why you keep hitting income ceilings, why scaling your business feels draining instead of expansive, or maybe even why you secretly shrink your success, or you start to shrink when success starts to show up, this episode is for you. So today we're talking about your capacity, not just your calendar, but your nervous system. Because the truth of it is this: if your body doesn't feel safe to receive more, be that more clients, more visibility, more money, then you're going to unconsciously block it every single time, or subconsciously block it every single time. So this episode really explores the emotional, the energetic, and the financial capacity required to lead like a CEO, and how to regulate your nervous system and your systems so that your business becomes a place of safety and not stress. And to have this conversation, I have none other than the phenomenal Lauren Dietrich, who I just love so doggone much. You guys, let me tell you about Lauren, and then we're just going to hop into the conversation. But Lauren Dietrich has spent years mastering high ticket sales and advising 7- and 8-figure online brands on scaling systems and client experience. The biggest leap in her success came when she stopped relying on willpower and started working on regulating her nervous system and doing mindset work. Today, she channels that expertise into financial education, helping people protect their money, grow their wealth, and plan with clarity. Please help me welcome Lauren Dietrich. Hey, Lauren.
Hello.
Hello.
That was a wonderful introduction. You can do it again.
Let's start over.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So when I think about when we met, so before we hop into this topic, and it's such a wonderful topic, clearly, but when I think about when I met Lauren, I met Lauren probably, I'm going to say probably 2020.
Yeah,
when the world came crashing down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was 2020, and I met Lauren, and there was just something about you, Lauren. Like it was always more than meets the eye. Like, and every time, no, seriously, and every time I'd have a conversation with you, whether it was like we'd hop on Zoom or we'd hop on the phone or anything, you always brought another layer of depth to the conversation. I'm like, where'd that come from? I'm like, damn, I knew Lauren was good, but she is good. And so I've always just really admired that about you and really appreciated that about you. And I think I told you this not too long ago. I have a couple of Zooms that we did in 2020 and 21. And my sweet little MacBook Pro here, it's been hanging on for years. And so I can only record a certain amount of things, and then my memory gets full. So I'll go through and I'll delete stuff, but I'll come across hours. I'm like, oh, no, don't delete Lauren's. I don't even know what's on it. I don't know what we said, but what I do know is I am not deleting any video or audio. It was all video. I'm not deleting any video that has Lauren in it. So anyway, I love you to pieces. I just want you to know that.
I mean, I love you too. The thing is, all those, so in that time I was talking to so many people, and I distinctly remember sending you a voice note. I was in New York at Chris's house, and we were doing a little retreat there for the company, and I was sending you a voice note. Like, it was really late at night. I was in bed, and I was sending Charyse a voice note. And even the next day, Chris was like, who are you talking to so late? I was like, it was Charyse. And then I think the next day you guys must have talked. And I remember that conversation too. So it's funny because there's some people that stick with you that are just, we're like, oh, this person is like, there's something about them. They're just doing work. They're a personality that you want to be around. They're people who are you're helping people, and you want to be part of their mission. So I remember that too.
That is so cool. Now, I wasn't a client yet.
No, you weren't.
Wow.
No, you weren't a client yet. We had a few conversations before you ended up joining the program. And I remember this was like very, very beginning, like first conversation in October of 2020.
Wow. Did you think like this girl's not going to join the program, or did you
No,
already?
I knew you would, like, that's my one thing that I have instinct on is like, this person will join this program. And that's, I don't know, my claim to fame is I would know. And you were one person where I was like, this is like, she's going to join. She's going to get great results. Yeah. Like, Chris, you need to talk to her. It was, yeah,
So
I remember that very vividly. And even my husband remembers it as well.
That is so cool. And I'm so grateful that we did have those conversations, because honestly, and I say this publicly all the time, if it wasn't for you and Chris and that whole container, I'm not going to say I'm going to always be successful, but I would not have experienced I think the expediency and the success that I experienced had it not been specifically with, from that particular container. So I am like eternally grateful for all the things, the support and what I learned, and the confidence that, I borrowed, and the skills that I learned, the skills, plural, that I learned, that I continue to use to this very day. So,
yeah, no. And it was one of those things where, where like you were just like such a right fit, but also that point of expediency, you are successful. You were successful coming in. You're even more successful now. It's been years, but there were certain things that you didn't have to do all the work to figure out. You took things that worked, that made sense for you. You didn't take maybe everything, but you took these bits and pieces, and you saw how it could work together, and you took it and you made it your own. And I've seen that. And that's what that was my big thing about coaching, was I was like, oh my God, there's a fast pass to health, to business, to finances. There's a fast pass, and you come up against it and you're like, oh man, well, this is a high ticket investment. Should I do it? And then you realize on the other end of it, it's an exponential outcome that you get. And I love seeing that with, you're one of those people where I'm like, oh my God, it made me so happy to actually sell you into a program, because
thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not what you expect. You're like, oh, sales, people kind of cringe at it, but it's the people that you sell into a program that benefit and walk away, and you're like, wow, this is all worth it. And you're one of those people for me, especially because I love seeing your success.
Oh, well, thank you. And I know we haven't even jumped into our topic yet, but I just want to actually kind of speak about this just for a hot second, because Lauren sold me into the program. You guys, so for those of you who are, and I am grateful, thank you, Lauren. Like, I mean, I should have another child and name her Lauren. Like, seriously. It's probably impossible at this point, but hey, whatever. But no, I'm serious, because, and so I want you to think, those that are listening or watching, I want you to think about that, because so often we have an idea of what sales is, or what it should, we don't want to bother people. We don't want to, sometimes we get uncomfortable about offering our services or whatever. But had Lauren not sold me into the program, we would not be having this conversation right now. And like I said, when I say I am grateful that she did, thank you, Lauren. And not only, I haven't said this to you, because it just came to me just now. Even all of the neurotransformational work, the neuro identity, that's you. Like, I would have not known about. Thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome. You are welcome. And it reminds me, because sometimes I still have a debate around, because your mind is trying to keep you safe. There are things that happen. You get things happen, and I'm like, oh, do I even like sales? And I love sales. It's the mind playing a joke on me, where it's like, do you even like sales? I'm like, yeah, I actually do, because, you can help people, and you're going to help them to a certain extent, but you are a testament to me around the actual resounding and exponential impact you have through a sale, because you did Chris's program. Then us together, we did the mind magic certification, the neuro identity evolution, all those things. And that was interesting, because I kind of, I pulled you over into that somehow, and we did it together. So we were in a program together, and you see how one thing leads to another, and all of these things, it's an exponential result that happened. And that really, makes me happy as somebody who was doing sales at the time. And I had that back and forth of like, is this the thing I want to do or not? And then you have these results and you're like, okay, yeah, of course. If I hadn't done that, that would have been a disservice.
It would have been that part right there. If you had not, it would have been a disservice. So again, for those listening or watching, when you choose not to invite someone into working with you, you are really doing them a disservice. And honestly, it's almost selfish, because you're making it about you. When it's not about you, it's about that other person's transformation. And not just right then and there, but what's to come. Not that you know what's to come, but again, if that never happened, if I never enrolled in that program with you, I would have never enrolled in the other program. We would have never, done that second program together. And like I said, we probably we would not be having this conversation. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's so cool how things work. And I wanted to say this too, and then we're going to really jump into the topic at hand. But this is still, I think this is still so relevant. And it wasn't like you sold me, and I really, because I know I said you sold me into the program. I think we both used that language, but we really just had conversations, genuine conversations. Like literally, wasn't like Lauren's like, "Are you joining? When are you going to join? It's X amount. You joining today?" No, I don't know that you ever said any of that. But it was really genuine conversations that you asked, kind of, you assessed where I was. You assessed where the gap was. You had helped me identify the gap. You presented a solution that could fill the gap, and it just made sense. And so when you really look at it from that perspective, as you're listening, you guys, and like thinking about what it is that you do and what it is that you have to offer, it's having being willing to have a conversation, helping to identify what the gap is. And those of you who are in my program, I mean, because I'm sure Lauren, I probably teach the same framework, because I use the same framework that Lauren probably uses. But it's about asking the questions and asking the right questions, and then listening, and then again, providing a solution, not in a salesy way, but just in a, hey, you know what, you said you have this issue, or what we've identified is here's the deficit, or here's the gap, here's the missing piece. I have something that could plug that hole. And it ends up becoming a no-brainer. And at the time, that was the largest investment I'd ever made. I remember where I was too. Yeah, I remember I was out walking, and I was by this park, and I sat down, and my stomach, I had butterflies in my stomach. I was nauseous. I'm like, oh my God, am I about to spend $30,000, Lord Jesus? And but I just knew. Yeah. I'm like, I would be crazy if I didn't. And so anyway, but yeah. So again, thank you.
Yeah, we could go deep into this one. It's funny because it's one of those things where people kind of look. I remember I interviewed for this job, and it was a sales job for some company that was acquired by the Hermosis, and the guy was like, "What's your framework?" And I was like, I mean, I identify the gap. I talk to people, I listen. It's not really rocket science, and I don't have this XYZ ABC. If they say this, I say that. I just kind of listen, and he was like, he really liked the answer, but also at the same time, it was like, how do I control this? How do I control the person who doesn't really have a framework and just is listening to people and identifying gaps? It all made sense. And he's like, oh, I really like that. But at the same time, and for me, my success, honestly, and so people can't really
replicate that.
Yeah. They're like, oh, how do you replicate that? Well, I'm like, well, if you really listen to what somebody's saying, the answer is right there. They're saying
they're giving you the answer.
Exactly. They're giving you the answer. And all you have to do is listen and repeat back to them what they've said to you.
Yeah.
And I've sold, up like $100,000 offer and packages before. And it wasn't really more than just listening and having a real conversation with somebody and being willing to be present to their mindset shit. Right. Because that's all that's happening is somebody's justifying why they're staying stuck, while also coming to you wanting to change. And you're not there to sit and accept their justifications because that is not in service to them. And so you just kind of have to be there uncomfortably sometimes and call people out on things that don't make sense with the things that they say to support that. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, oh my God, of course, like, yeah, let me join.
I mean, really, and here's the thing, and the way you just articulated that, Lauren, was so it was like so nonchalant, like, oh yeah, that's just what it is. But it really is. Like when you really, I mean, but this is something that this is I think you came to the table probably with some of this inherently. I don't know if it's just a gift or if it's something that you have kind of honed through different jobs before I met you. But it appears to be so effortless for you, but it's embodied. It really is. I think that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's embodied, and it's literally just it's listening, like you said, it's just listening and repeating back, and not allowing them to stay where they are because they came to you for a reason.
Yeah.
They're reaching out for support, even though their mind wants to keep them kind of stuck. But yeah, you're so phenomenal. Like, no, I'm telling the way you just like, well, this is all you do, but that is all you do. So, and it does take practice. And I think some people probably just are better at it than others, but everyone can master that.
Right.
That really they can. So, and once you do, man, I always say you can literally write your own paycheck. Yeah. I know I have. I mean, I'm serious. So that being said, Lauren, let's talk about building a business that feels safe to receive more. When you hear those words, what are some of the things that just kind of come to mind initially?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing that what we're just talking about around justifying why you're stuck. And honestly, what I've found, and I just had this conversation I was talking to Cindy, who's also a nurse, and she's a coach.
Yeah.
And honestly, very relevant, because she was sitting there and she said to me, I am the most regulated person in the room. It helps me at my job. I have healing hands. It's kind of crazy that people just, I mean, I can just help people because they're willing to receive it, but it's because I'm regulated.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? People come to me and want to work with me. They want, like, the business is so easy. It flows. I'm not grinding so much.
Yep.
And I was sitting there just almost like in tears, because that is just such a clear representation of the work, and also was a reminder for me, because you go back and forth, right? You put in the work, and then, your kids get sick. Like my kids are sick right now, and my routines are changed, and I haven't had a chance to journal or do my breathing and exercises, and it feels a little bit more grindy and more willpower. And why isn't this working? And then I realized, I sat down and I journaled, and all of a sudden all this blockage around things that I had these stops and things that I couldn't do, like posting on social media and being afraid of what are people going to think when I say this, were gone, and the creativity started to flow, and it felt not effortless, but in comparison, effortless.
Because you're back in flow, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was flowing, and I sat down and I was writing all these things, and it was this ability to be present with yourself. Yeah. And not let the subconscious programming that's there to protect you and keep you safe and keep you from not changing, to just be present to it. Because when you allow yourself to slow down and be present, all of a sudden you realize, oh, what feels like anxiety, or what feels like something I can only feel, is actually some sort of thought pattern. And when I can identify it, okay, cool, I can actually be present to it. And then all of a sudden it passes, and all the things are back in flow. And so that's what I hear when I hear building a business that feels safe to receive more. It's about allowing yourself, you are expanding and growing and doing all these things that you've never done before. It's going to feel scary, like super scary. But if you really break that down, it's just your nervous system is extraordinarily unregulated. It's and therefore unsafe to change, because you don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why you grind and it's the willpower and the grind and the hustle. And then all of a sudden you're like, why am I not getting anywhere for all this hard work that I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's extraordinarily simple when you flip it on its head and you just take care of your nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great part to kind of like maybe take a step back. And I am in full agreement. Absolutely. Everything. Ditto, 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 everything you said. Let's take a step back and let's start with the basics, if you will. What does it really mean to you to have a regulated nervous system as a business owner? And then why do you feel it's foundational to growth?
I mean, to me, there's all the work that you can put in behind it, but what it really means when you put in the work and you are regulated, it's being in present time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worrying about what happened in the past, what could happen in the future, translating, A equals A. Like one time I did this thing and it didn't work out. So now if I try to do something and it doesn't work out, I'll be in the same place again. It's about being right here, right now. And then when you're in your present time, you're able to connect to the mission, the reason you started it. And everything you do is a mission-driven action versus a reactionary, subconscious blah of what you've been doing over and over again without really thinking.
Yeah. When did you realize, because one of the things I read in your bio is that when you stopped functioning from willpower and started really working and functioning from a place of having a regulated nervous system, things just shifted for you. When did you realize that the nervous system was even a thing, or having a regulated nervous system was a thing?
It started in 2020. Like a lot of the basis of the person that I am in business came from actually working with Chris Kenny, shout out.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
He showed me kind of these basics. And then I met Tracy Litt, who is she is the nervous system queen.
Master. Yeah. For sure.
And she really brought it home for me around, what do you actually do to in your daily routines to create this? Because I started hearing it, and it was here and there, and there were some pieces here and some, meditation, heart-centered meditation, visualization, things like that. But Tracy was the one who really put together a how to do this and build a framework on it, and actually backed by science. It made sense. And it was hard to, when you say, oh, well, I can't do, 30 seconds of alternate nostril breathing, which you're like, oh man, like this is a me thing. Like this is not because I don't have the time.
Right.
This is a me thing. And so she just made it super accessible. And that in 2023 was when we went through that training program together. That's when I really realized that I don't feel like I have anxiety, but when I started regulating my nervous system, I was like, oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I'm buzzing up here. And then I could be way calmer than I actually am. And then you realize how tightly you're grasping onto things.
Yeah.
So that was a real eye opener.
Yeah. And so it's interesting when you don't have anything to compare it to, like that's your norm. And I can attest to this as well. I used to always think that I was like cool, calm, collected, like, all is well, da, da, da. And I thought it was until into Tracy, right? Until I started learning more about my nervous system and really how to regulate my nervous system. And I'm going to kind of jump into, what are some things you can do to regulate your nervous system. But before that, so when I learned how to regulate my nervous system, and then I had a comparison of what I used to feel like and what life used to feel like prior to me understanding the importance of regulating your nervous system, it was like night and day. It was literally night and day. And like I said, where I thought I was cool, calm, and collected, I'm like, no, you weren't, Charyse, but you didn't know any difference, And so man, operating from prioritizing your nervous system is such a gift that we give ourselves, not just as a human, but even more so as a business owner, because what I have found is that, it lends itself to better decisions, right? Not being reactive, but being more being proactive. Not feeling like I'm in that hustle and grind.
Mm-hmm.
It plays a part in my leadership. It literally plays a part in every area of my life. And so, if you could share some of the things that you do personally to help regulate your nervous system, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah. So I like to keep it super simple. The one thing that was game changer was the every hour to do the alternate nostril breathing, which, you put your thumb on one nostril, breathe in, then switch, breathe out through the other nostril, and do it for 30 seconds. And that was the real one where it was said, this is how you do it. 30 seconds, 60 seconds if you want to. And I was like, dang, if I cannot make time to do 60 seconds, maybe every hour, but even a few times a day, then I am kidding myself.
Right.
In the fact that is just me. So that was one thing that I that actually made a huge difference for me, because I had on my Apple Watch, I don't have it on today, but I'd have a timer that went off every 60 minutes, and I would, do alternate nostril breathing. And I would even sometimes do it on calls with clients, depending on the client. I wasn't always in. Yeah. So I would just say, you know what, like I'm going to take this time, I'm going to do this. And what I found was my fear levels decreased significantly, because I was walking around with a lot of fear. I was a new mom at the time, and I was so concerned about not making enough money, messing up my kid, being like, all of these things, like, being out there in the world and people thinking I'm whatever. And so that helped me actually get really clear on my vision, because I couldn't even see what I wanted in my life. I knew I wanted something different, but I couldn't even see it, because I was so dysregulated that I was in so much fear that it was blank brain. It was just a blank brain and nothing there. So I love, like, the alternate nostril breathing was just so simple and easy. The other thing I really, really love is I just like to journal. I think taking the time to get the things out of your head, and for me, that's written. I can usually never identify it until I sit down and kind of just start writing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there we go. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I did that the other day, and I was like, oh, because somebody's like, what's going on? I'm like, don't know. Couldn't tell you. Then I sit down and I write it out. I'm like, that makes sense. And honestly, the visualization in the morning of just being already present to the things you want, it was very mind magic. I guess they've changed the name since then, but it those things and having that on a routine and consistent basis compounded for me over time. And that's when I realized, okay, this is what I want for my life. And I got dysregulated again during pregnancy. Like, let's be real. I came out of pregnancy, got really regulated, was like, oh my God, if I wasn't afraid I'd have another baby. Immediately got pregnant.
Wow.
Yep. And it was crazy. And then, my pregnancy was much better the second time. But it was, again, when I started doing the nervous system regulation, when I started really being present to myself, again, I went from no vision. I was like, oh, maybe it's better to just work for somebody else, and that's how you get ahead, and like 401ks and like all these like nonsense things that I've never said for years came back out. And then I got regulated. I regulated again. I started getting in a routine, and the the way I handled my kids, the way my
Mm-hmm.
vision came back for what I wanted, this big impact in the world came back. And so those are the things that I do. And those are the things that really work for me.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know that there's someone listening that's probably thinking, I don't have time for that. Because I remember
Yeah.
when it was suggested that we do, take a 30-second or 60-second breathing break at the top of every hour, my immediate response is like, she must not know what's going on in my life. Like, just, I have a life. I cannot take 30 seconds every hour.
Right.
And yeah. And then I remember we were sitting, it was me and a couple of friends, it was Laura, Wanda, and a couple other folks.
Yeah.
We were sitting by the pool. I think we were in, well, I don't know where we were, girl.
We're in Delray, weren't we?
I don't know if it was that time we were in Del. I don't know where we were. I feel like we were at the Wave.
Oh, was it Powerhouse maybe? And
you know what? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was
There's
in Florida.
So many. We went to like 3 events that year that were all related.
Back to back to back to like first we were with Chris and where were we? I don't even know where we were. We were in Hollywood, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Florida.
So.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I remember my immediate thought, and I'm bringing this up because I can guarantee someone's listening and they already turned off. They're like, no, I ain't got an hour. I mean, I can't do it. I can't do 30 seconds at the top of every hour. But when I say that it was a gift, I really, really mean it really is and was a gift. I first shot it down, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I got things to do. Then I was like, okay, just, you know what, just try it one day.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I felt so grounded, so centered, so empowered. It's as if every hour, and of course, every hour of all of our days is different, right? But this is the best way I can kind of describe it. In those 59 minutes, you probably go from 0 to 10, right? Or maybe even past 10, depending on what it is that you're doing. And in just those 30 seconds that you take at the top of the hour, it brings you back down to like 0 or 1. And so you're right back grounded. And then if you can compare that to, okay, every hour I'm at 10 or 11 or 12, and then the next hour I'm going to another 10, 11, 12. By the end of the day, by the middle of your day, no wonder why you are like, you're a constant fight or flight. Yeah. And I literally was having a conversation with a client 2 days ago. There was yesterday, I guess. Yesterday, it feels like it was 2 days ago, but yesterday, and she was saying how she has so much anxiety and she's got so much on her plate right now, and she's really scaling her business. She's got a lot of things going on, right? She kind of shared with me, and she said, "What can I? Because I just need help. What can I do?" I said, You think you need a really big answer?" I said, "I'm going to give you an answer, and it's such a powerful answer." And it's such an easy thing to do that you're probably going to like dismiss it. And and she's like, "Well, what is it?" I said, "Breathe." And she said, "What?" I said, "Set an alarm." I said, I knew she didn't have the capacity to receive an hour every hour. So I said, "You know what? I want you to every 4 hours." I said, "Just set an alarm on your phone to breathe for 30 seconds." And she was like, "And then what?" I said, No, that's it."
I love that.
Right. And then
I mean, it makes sense because you're like, you're going. You're like, what can I do? Because that's all your nervous system is like, do. And so you receive, I've heard answers like that. And I'm like, the other day, some guy, I was talking to somebody, said, "Lauren, I need you to do something, touch the wall." And I was like, he's like, "It's going to sound stupid. I need you to touch the wall." He's like, "You are in present time. You are here in present time, touch the wall again." And it was like, oh, it's like these simple things. He's like, "You're going to hate me when I say this, but I need you to touch the wall." And I was like, that doesn't help me. And he's like, "Just touch the wall." And I'm like, okay.
Touch the wall.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, literally within 60 seconds, I went from here down to here. Yeah. And he's like, okay. Yeah. And then when it started going up, he's like, "Touch the wall again." And I'm like, okay. Ooh. So it's not about doing more. It's never been about doing more. No. And it's funny because I talk to so many business owners and they're like, "Yeah, I'm doing the least, I'm doing stuff in my business, but this is the least I've done. And my business is really taking off. It's a lot's happening." It's like, yeah, because they do something on a daily basis to develop themselves. And it's not like high intensity. It's very about awareness and being present, and all of a sudden they're doing less in their business, but more is coming out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It sounds totally opposite because the
Mhm.
way we have been programmed or indoctrinated, it's like you want more, you do more, do.
Mhm.
Like just keep doing. And the crazy part about it is that we've been doing that forever, and then we wonder why we have no more capacity, or we feel like we're going crazy, or whatever the
Right.
case may be. And then we also wonder why we don't have what it is that we want. So when I, one of the things I always say, and I've been saying this for years, and I mean it because I live it, is I always say, building a business from a place of ease and flow, which doesn't mean you're not working,
Right.
but you're doing different. You're number one, you're doing different work, but number two, you are different when you're doing the work that you are doing, which means that you get a greater output, right? So people always like, so when you say ease and flow, that, and I always see other, just random people, whatever, online saying, if you see someone that says building a business from ease and flow, that's BS, whatever. And it's like, okay, you totally don't get it. You totally don't get it. I've built businesses. I've built multiple high six figure businesses from hustle and grind. No, just from like grinding, like just go, do. And I mean, at the time, I guess I thought I felt okay, but now having done the same thing, created the same success or even more, from a totally different perspective, from a regulated nervous system, from a place of ease and flow, truly from a place of ease and flow. Oh, it's different. Oh, it's very different. And again, it's not that you don't work. You do work, but you're not doing the work that you are doing in that heightened state. You're not doing, or I don't even know if the heightened state is the right word to even to use, but you're grounded, you're centered, you're working from a place of you're already. So the best way I can articulate it is, I'm already where I want to be. I'm just doing the work. I'm just doing the work, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm trying to get someplace. I assume the position, I'm already there.
Yeah.
Which is a totally different perspective. But I'm only able to do that because I do take the time to ground myself. And I know I asked you, what are some of the ways that you like to regulate your nervous system? I would say the same, the breathing, which again is so simple that it's like, okay, then what do I do? What's next?
Yeah.
No, you just breathe and you just reconnect and you ground and you lean back into who it is that you are, and so but that, and then literally grounding, I'll go outside and I'll put my feet in the grass.
You don't even think about it. Like once you do it, it feels so normal, but that is so, to walk around barefoot and just, it's that presence of like,
it's presence
here right now. And it's that connection between, because when you're here, then you can see where you want to go, and then you can create that actual connection of, okay, I can see it. Let me be it now. And so it allows that connection of actually becoming that person, because that's all this journey is, business owner, whatever. You're here, you want to create something different. And the only way to do that is to actually get in touch with that future version of yourself. And if you're like, oh, right now, you'll never do that. And that ground, I love
disconnected. You're disconnected, and you're just, that's probably the best way I can say it. You're disconnected. And I always talk about taking inspired action, and you can't get those downloads and you can't to even take inspired action when you have a dysregulated nervous system. Your crown's like, you can't receive anything. And so again, it is truly about taking aligned action. Going back to like the idea that, oh, you don't work. No, you do work, but you take aligned action. And when you are taking aligned action, again, the output, the outcome and the output is exponentially more than if I was like, oh, let me just grind. No. No. Yeah.
I love that.
That's good stuff.
I love that. Yeah. And the things are so simple that it's like, it's been raining in California, and it's like, walk outside in the rain and feel like it's like it doesn't rain in California, but it's raining now. And I love it because you walk outside and it's just a reminder of, hey, each raindrop is like, hello, I'm here. Pay attention to me. And then you just stop and you're like, wow, how, like, I'm here. I'm right here. Okay,
Right.
cool. Instead of wherever on your phone or, connected to like, oh, what will happen if I do this or this happened, yesterday and
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset about it. It's just so interesting. And it's funny because I had this conversation, with a fellow like nurse who runs her own business,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been she's like, as soon as I really just focused on this, it stopped feeling hard and it just came to me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that's it. It's such a good reminder.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a beautiful reminder. And what you're connecting back to self, and you're connecting back to, I'll even say your higher self.
Mhm.
That it's so easy to get just, you're never disconnected, but you're just unaware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're always connected, but you're unaware because you're, again, just doing, not just not being, and not reconnecting, and not um, regulating, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. So I know a little while ago we talked about capacity,
Mhm.
not just time or money, but emotional and energetic space. So, how can someone begin to expand their capacity to receive more in their business?
Mm. I think it's really about, all these things that we've said so far are all interconnected. You can when you can see that future version of yourself, the person that you are becoming. The reason that like doing all these things doesn't work is because you're not doing things in the direction of that becoming and so
Mm-hmm.
you're just spinning in a circle. When you align and you see that and you take those steps every day, that ease and flow starts pulling in. So, it's really about regulating your nervous system, like slowing down so you can see that vision because when you get clear on it, then you know what steps to take. So, I really think that it comes down to the things we've been talking about because when you get when you allow yourself to slow down, regulate, it allows you to see that vision of who you are really here on this planet to step into, who you're
Mm-hmm.
becoming. Because when you don't know that and you're not connected to that, you're doing all this work and all these things and hustle and grind. And it feels like that because you're not taking the steps towards where you're going, right? It,
Yeah.
it doesn't result in anything. So when you start when you allow yourself to see that and you step into that being and that person, all of a
Yep.
sudden things flow because you're pulling in, like you're magnetic,
Mm-hmm.
your frequencies change and people can feel that. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, who's that? What are they doing? I want to be part of that. I need to tell people about that. It
Yep.
just changes and it's hard to explain exactly why, but it has to do with knowing your purpose on this earth, what you're here
Yeah.
to do, what your mission is, and how you want to impact people. And then when you take aligned action in inspired action in line
Mm-hmm.
with that vision,
Yeah.
then things flow to you because it's aligned. That's how
It's
it
a
works.
It
Yeah.
is. It absolutely is. And you hit on it a second. I just want to really underpin this. But when you are operating from a regulated state, also what also happens, and when you're reconnecting to that vision, right? What also happens is you're raising your frequency, and you start to attract things that are of the same frequency. So no
Mhm.
wonder it doesn't feel like work. No wonder it feels like things are just happening and showing up. No wonder you're not hustling, grinding, but you're literally taking that aligned action, and things are just happening, and it feels like it's almost effortless. Like,
Mhm.
because a lot of times I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. It's supposed to be easy. And that's how
Right?
I know, right? And that's how I know when things just start showing up, because it's a vibrational match to who you are. But and if you find that you're always constantly hitting resistance and roadblocks and negativity and this and that, it's because that's a vibrational match to who you're being right now.
100%.
So the best thing you can do is stop, breathe, intentionally breathe. And whether that's breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and then breathe out for 4, whether you do that, or as I was sharing about the person I was talking to yesterday, who was like, yeah, what do I do after I breathe? I said, no, you need to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and take a long exhale out for 8. Do that for 60 seconds. Several times a day, and don't think you're going to remember. Set your alarm so that way you can do it. And again, it's so simple and so easy, but the beautiful thing is that it's something that we have with us at all times. That's why it's so easy to forget. It's like you don't have to think, did I put it in my purse? Did I bring it with me? Yeah, it's your breath. It's the power of your breath. And we underestimate the power of our breath. But man, let me tell you, when you start doing that, for those that are listening, you're like, nah, it can't be that easy. Like, I must be missing something, or this sounds too woo-woo. Okay, try it. Don't believe me. Believe me. Don't believe Lauren. We are totally making this up. What I want you to do is I want you to prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong, exactly. Yeah.
Try it for 7 days. Seriously, send us a message. For 7 days, take breathing breaks 4 times a day. 4 times a day. Take intentional breathing breaks. Do that for the next 7 days, and then send us a message and let us know how things change. Because I don't want you to believe us. I want you to experience it for yourself. When I say it's a gift, it is such a gift to give yourself. So how would you say, Lauren, if there's someone listening, they're like, I don't know if my nervous system is dysregulated or not. This is the first time I'm ever hearing of this. Like, what are some of the signs of someone? What are some of the signs that someone's nervous system is rejecting success, even though they say that they want to grow and expand? I know for me, the first thing is procrastination. It
just feels hard. Honestly, one, there's not one person who could not use more nervous system regulation.
For sure.
Like, everybody can benefit from it.
Yeah.
But I've always seen it as, I feel like I'm smart and I'm talented. And so what is that thing that's in the way that's keeping me from doing something with this? Like, why is there not more? Why am I, it just feels hard and heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there you go. That's one sign. I mean, but every single person that you meet, even the most regulated person that you know, could probably do more. There's more that they can do, because the regulation, it's for yourself, but 2, it's for the people around you.
Yeah. They'll appreciate you being regulated.
Your kids, your clients, your, patients.
Yeah.
It's a gift. And so, but for me, it's always when it feels hard and heavy, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I am so smart, so talented, so XYZ, but I have this goal right here, and I'm not there. Why not?
It eludes you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the number one sign in my book.
That's good. That's good for me. So same with me, if for whatever reason I get off schedule, because life's sometimes, and as much as I prioritize it and really understand the importance of doing like my morning meditation and visualization and doing my breathing breaks throughout the day and ending my day on gratitude, even starting my day with gratitude, like that's just typically part of my routine. But then sometimes, routine gets thrown off because whatever, life be lifing, right? And so things happen. And then what I notice is, I won't notice initially. And then what makes me notice is I'm like, well, one thing is like, why is this hard? Or the other one's like, I'm not having fun today. Like, I'm feeling like I'm not having fun in my life. And then that's my clue, like, oh, you're off. You're out of alignment. You're off. So let's get back on. Let's start recalibrating. Let's start re-regulating your nervous system. Procrastination. When procrastination shows up, that's my sign too. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, like you've been saying you're going to do this for like all week, and it's Friday. Oh, yeah, okay. And it clicks me back into place, right? Also, what I've seen, I've experienced this too, but I see it a lot with my clients when they start like underpricing or start shrinking. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. When you're like, oh, I'm gonna like sell yourself short. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So underpricing, procrastinating, just when it feels heavy, self-sabotage.
Oh, yeah. When you're like, oh, procrastination is a good one. Cause I mean, that's obviously that's a red flag that you're not addressing something for sure. Yeah, no, those are good because it's pretty much anything that's not serving you. When you're like, why am I the creator? Something's not serving me. What's not serving me? It's probably self-created.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
you're allowing you're allowing it to be either it's from something else towards you and you're allowing it to be present, or it's from you to you and you're allowing that to be present. So
yeah, what is the saying? Like the phone, the call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah,
The
call's coming from inside the house.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, let's talk about some practical tools or some daily practices. We shared it a little bit, but some practical tools or daily practices that the listeners can do or use to help regulate their nervous system while also building strong business foundations. So we talked about breathing. We talked about taking breathing breaks. What else comes up for you when you think about that?
I think the biggest thing is that when I've been most on like this mission or vision is when I truly lock into my vision on a daily basis, because then it's like you're attaching to that future vision, and then every action should align with that.
Right.
So for me, as you know, when I lock into that vision, then all of a sudden it's crazy the amount of paper that I fill with my brilliant ideas and all this leverage. I'm like, I don't have a lot of time. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I don't have time for this. And then I lock into my vision. Then all of a sudden I'm regulated and I have this beautiful mind moment of all this leverage I can create and how easy it can be. Oh my God.
And, isn't it cool?
Right? Yeah. Like people are like, what's happening? Like I'm around some people say like, what's happening with you right now? I'm like, don't worry about it. It is actually a genius. Like this is genius. And then they look at it and they're like, holy shit, this is really, because I'm working with some other people and they're like, oh shit, this is really smart. I'm like, yeah, it's really smart. But it was only because I was able to access my future self, the vision of what I'm trying to do. And then all of a sudden I'm not doing this over here and that over there. I am directly on target, and every action I'm taking is towards that target. So I like and it just gets you fired. Like, look at me now. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I know you're hyped.
I'm pumped. I'm like, oh, let's go to a marathon. But that's the power of your vision of like who you're becoming. It's really exciting. It's the thing that lights you up. And so that for me is a non-negotiable is losing touch with that vision and that mission. So that visualization every day, however you do it.
Yeah.
Obviously the breathing breaks, however you decide to breathe. But I also, the other thing that I think helps regulate your nervous system is drinking a ton of water. It sounds silly, but
no, it does. That works. Water fixes so many things.
Water fixes so many
tired,
things.
You don't have energy, drink some water.
Yeah.
Like you have a headache, drink some water. You feel dysregulated, drink some water. Like water is, I'm telling you.
Water is a big
such
one.
An easy one. Just like breath. It's like breathe, that's it. That can't be
it. You're like, why is this, it's like a child could have ran this episode, but
it's one thing to know it, and then what's the saying? To know and not to do is really not to know.
Not to know, exactly.
Right? So it's one thing to know it, but if you're not doing it, how about just try to do it? Just try. Just do it.
Just try it. I mean, and then I'll give you another like lame-o tip is go for a walk.
Yes.
Walks are it's where all your genius comes out. You're on a walk and you're up against a problem. All of a sudden, now you're breathing, you're moving your body. You're not like right here, you're not right here in your head or on your phone, and you're looking out around you. And all of a sudden the world is a bigger place. Yeah. And then this genius download comes from the sky and you're like, oh my God, this was the answer to my problem. It's not that hard.
No, I get the best downloads. Like that's one of the reasons why I walk every morning. I mean,
you were the master. I remember you've been doing this for years. You just every day.
Every morning. I'm like, because I know, number one, yes, it's a regulated. I mean, it's multifaceted. So one, it is my exercise in the morning, but oftentimes I'll walk twice. I'll walk in the morning, like for my cardio, but also I know that, downloads will come in, and then even like problems are getting solved. I always think of that movie, A Beautiful Mind, where you see all the things like,
exactly.
It's that's what's happening. Like
that's
all these
exactly
equations and symbols and all these things are happening while I'm walking, and things that I wasn't consciously thinking about But then again, they'll drop in. It's like, oh, great. Okay, when I get back, I'm gonna do this. Sometimes I'll just stop and like send myself a
Right.
note because I'm like, oh, this is good stuff. Like I don't know where this came from, but thank you.
Right.
And then oftentimes I'll go for a walk again in the evening, just really as a nervous regulation tool, not really for cardio, but I'll just go and walk
Yeah.
and breathe and be and disconnect from my whole day and then
Yeah.
reconnect back to me. It's like I get a whole nother burst of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more downloads too. That's the
Yeah,
main reason
exactly.
why
No, those,
that's the
I
main
mean,
reason why I walk, so I can get all the downloads.
right? It's like the secret tip of like, wait, just take care of yourself, breathe,
Yeah,
drink water, like, go for a walk, ground yourself, be outside, detach. It's
yeah,
there. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, nervous system regulation, but it's also just really just good for you.
it's good for
You
you.
need that. So
Yeah. And the other thing too, so, and because I know everyone's listening, and again, it may sound woo or whatever, but let's even look at it from a physiological standpoint, since most of you are nurses or nurse practitioners anyway. When you are, again, just kind of going through the motions, hustle, 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 hustle and grind, throwing caution to, like, you're just in go mode, your body's in fight or flight, your body's pumping out cortisol, right? Which is a stress hormone. Your
mhm,
heart rate's up, your blood pressure's more elevated than what it needs to be. You're breathing more rapid and more shallow than what you need, even if you're not hyperventilating, but you are breathing more rapidly. And then when you take those intentional breathing breaks, what happens? It communicates to our body, we're safe. We don't have to be pumping out all this cortisol. We're not in trouble. We're not in fight or flight anymore. We can move into rest and digest, right? So
mhm.
moving out of a sympathetic state to more of a parasympathetic state, rest and digest. We can, oh, she's taking deep breaths. Well, that means we're safe. We can turn off the cortisol. We can turn on some of these other hormones like dopamine and which is whatever, depending on what you're doing. But
Right.
bottom line is you're not in a stressed mode and you're not producing stress hormones. So physiologically, it's even better, healthier,
Right.
for you than even, beyond everything that we're talking about. So bottom line is you can't go wrong. Can't
You
go wrong
can't
with the
go
regulated
wrong. I
nervous
mean, we're
system.
just giving you the tips to crack the code and win at life.
This
So
is the cheat code to winning at life. It really is. That's what the episode should be. The cheat code. I'm going to change the name of the episode. The cheat code to winning at life. That's
I
the name
love
of
it.
because it is. So, any last thoughts, any last words you want to share with the listeners as we are wrapping up our conversation in how to be able to expand our capacity and receive more in our business?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you're listening to this and you don't work with Charyse, obviously number one is work with Charyse. No,
Obviously.
she didn't ask me to pitch this, but she's the person that if you're a nurse and you're trying to build a business and you're trying to grow yourself, I don't know if I would do it with Charyse. There's no other person I would do it with because she
Well, thank you.
is looking at this from a holistic perspective. And you tell me, like, as in medicine, the holistic approach is always going to be the winner. And so, um, and then also just give yourself the gift of being present
Yeah.
to your genius. Everyone here has some gift, something that they need to share with the world that people will benefit from.
Mhm.
And every second of every day that you allow yourself to be stressed and, just overstimulated and dysregulated is taking away from your capacity to give to others, even
Yeah.
in the world of healthcare. So,
True.
give yourself that gift because as I give that gift more and more to myself, I'm like, dang, like I'm smart. I can impact so many people. I'm impacting people. I'm going to impact more. My vision gets bigger. My mission gets stronger. And, the work is there. There's evidence. You see it every day there. I see it with everybody that I've worked with, in the programs that have focused on this. It's shocking to see how you compare that to somebody who's running just like this is how you grow your business
Mm.
with somebody who this is how you holistically grow your business and hit your impact and complete your mission. It's very different, and one feels way better than the other. One gets way better results than the other, because it's sustainable. And so, I've seen it, I've seen these people running an 8-figure business who have a completely dysregulated nervous system. And, you see pretty quickly when something happens that's not according to plan, a bump in the road that
They
it's a
lose their
big
shit.
and sometimes they can't even recover from it. And it has nothing to do with the system in place. Believe me, I've built the systems. The systems are good. And then you see somebody else using the same systems getting a different result. And it has only to do with how they what they do for themselves.
That's so good. Oh my God, that's so good. You guys, when I said that Lauren is Lauren, there's so many layers to Lauren. You might think you're getting one thing, and you are, but then there's so much. And Lauren's able to, I think this is one of your superpowers, Lauren. You're able to see things in people that I think other people miss. And I think it's a gift. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's something that you've developed, like you've trained, like if it's a skill that you honed. I think it's a gift that you have. All of us have special gifts, right? I always call it like our secret sauce. I think that's your secret sauce. You can just see things, see blocks, see things that you can identify things that can easily go like under the radar.
Yeah.
But you can see it, Lauren. And so one thing we didn't even touch on, and so I'll just bring this topic into the room, is that around finances, because our conversation today was about building a business that feels safe to receive more, and we focus on our nervous system and building resiliency in our nervous system and bringing safety and regulation to our nervous system. And with that, when you start to do that and your finances start to grow, then what do you do with those finances? Because here's the thing, if you don't know what to do, it's very likely that you'll self-sabotage, right? That's why we see all the time, people who win all these big jackpots of money, and, they've got more money than they've ever had access to. And then the statistic is, I don't know, within 5 or 10 years, it's a very short period of time, they're right back or worse than where they started off. And so I'm bringing this conversation up and into the room because Lauren is phenomenal with so many things and in the financial space as well. So as you start to expand your capacity to receive more, as you start to feel safe holding more, asking for more, receiving more, circulating more, then you really want to have a plan of what to do with all of this. So that way you're not just making money, but you're actually building wealth.
Yeah.
And that is the name of the game. And so, Lauren, how can people get in touch with you? They're like, oh, I need to go deeper in that conversation.
Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you?
Well, I love it because honestly, this conversation ties directly to that too. People, when you are dysregulated, you make decisions that don't serve you, right? So same with, and money is a hot topic that can trigger a lot of people. And so it's funny because I've watched people build big businesses and not really know what to do with the money. Things change. Obviously they don't know how to regulate themselves and they can't keep up. So if you want to, connect with me, that's what I look at, because one, I can help you build the system, the plan, and the things that will help you grow your wealth and maintain it over time. But it also will go hand in hand with this conversation, because a dysregulated nervous system means that you make poor decisions also when it comes to your money. So I'm hosting actually a financial workshop for healthcare workers, because actually both my parents are from the healthcare. Like my dad was a anesthesiologist, long story, but a really interesting and it's a lesson story on a few different things, but it's really about protecting your wealth, because even though he did a lot of things to financially support himself, he had a accident, became a quadriplegic, and is now in a very tight situation in terms of finances because certain things weren't in place. So, so I want to give back to healthcare workers. You guys literally keep people alive and give so much, and it's a very draining area, especially if you're not regulated. So we're hosting a financial workshop for healthcare workers on December 2nd at 5 p.m. Pacific, and I'll share with you whatever information. But if you want to connect and join that, please do. It is free. It is purely an educational moment. So I love that part. And if you want to connect with me, you can always do so on Facebook or Instagram too. I'm always open for a conversation. So
awesome. And you guys, whenever you have an opportunity to have a conversation with Lauren, I always say jump at it, because there'll be things that are brought up or identified that you that you weren't even aware of, because that's just a gift that Lauren has, Lauren, I'll make sure the team connects, I'll make sure that the team links your socials, so that way they can down in the show notes, so that way they can connect with you there. And then I'll also make sure that we drop the registration link for the masterclass that you're going to be doing down in the show notes as well. You guys get to the masterclass for sure, without question, and definitely connect with Lauren. So Lauren, thank you so much. I just wanted to really quickly, let's do 3 rapid fire questions. You game?
Okay, I'm game. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. If you were stuck on a deserted island, what's the only one thing that you would take with you?
Oh my God, I can't. One thing, I guess. Do I pick one of my children? I would take my. I'll take my husband. We can always create more kids, I guess. I'd take my husband.
There you go. Well, that's fine. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with Mateo. It's Mateos. Yeah. Mateos. Yeah. I always say his name wrong. Okay. All right. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh God, I think it was it must have been one of the Backstreet Boys or one of the NSYNC guys. I couldn't tell you which one, but I remember. I don't think it was Justin Timberlake. I think it was more Backstreet Boys.
Okay. All right. Did you have posters on your wall?
I didn't, but I had the albums, and I think I had a book that I got from when they would sell books at school and stuff. There was a Backstreet Boys book. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Let me think. I'm trying to think. I have one last really fun question. What's one of your guilty pleasures?
Oh, man, guilty pleasures. I mean, my kids sleep in my bed, so I cuddle with my kids every night.
I love that.
So that's, we have a whole thing about getting them out of the bed, but when my kids are like, oh, but can I cuddle? And I'm like, yeah,
yes.
That's why we have a king-size bed.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, I love it. No, that's one of the sweetest things is cuddling with the babies.
I know, and they're growing up so fast. So I'm like, you know what? There's going to be a point where they don't want to do this. So I'm going to take it all in right now.
I know. Take it all in. Because yes, you're right. There will be a point where they're like, Mom, I'm not a baby anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so eat it up. So Lauren, thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge and wisdom, all that you shared today on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Charyse. It's an honor, honestly, to be in this conversation with you. I love you so much.
Well, thank you. I love you too. And for those that are watching or listening, as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time on another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.